what I got here.
Did we get application?
I know two.
How many applications we get? Just 2 applications for
2. Yes, sir.
Are we getting those?
I'm going to be sending them.
I'd like to call our September meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. Mr. Evans?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Good evening to everyone. I'd like to ask Ms. Best to give us our safety instructions for tonight. We need our clerk. He's on the way, sir.
Yeah, that'd be a little hard, won't it?
Can we go ahead?
No, oh. Now we can move.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To provide for the safety of those attending this meeting, please listen to the following instructions in case of an emergency. First, please take a moment to note where your exits are. If an emergency arises that prompts us to evacuate, please exit this room in a quick and orderly manner through one of the 2 doors to your right, and then proceed to the nearest stairwell, directions to which are indicated by the exit signs. Once you exit the building, we ask that you safely cross Granville Street, which is the street that runs beside our building, to our parking lot to be safely away from the building. Our staff will provide additional direction and assistance as needed. In the case of a tornado warning, please exit this room into the hallway, where we will all remain until it is safe to exit. In any event of an active shooter in the building, if there is an accessible escape path, please run and try to evacuate the premises. If you can evacuate, find a place to hide where you are less likely to be found and lock any doors that you can. And as a last resort, and only if your life is in imminent danger, please fight. Our staff will provide additional assistance on what to do. Thank you for your attention.
Some more might speak. I'm asking for everybody to sign up. Okay, let me let you hold. Ms. Harris, would you please offer prayer?
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for another day of life, health, and strength, Lord. We thank you for those who are gathered, those who may be listening. We ask you to continue to keep us on one accord, that we may do what is right for all of our citizens of Edgecombe County. This we ask in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen. You have in your agenda package the minutes of our previous meeting. If there are no additions or corrections, is there a motion?
I think, Mr. Chairman, that I was not here, so you might want to strike me from there.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Showing that Mr. Boswell was not here. We do have a motion, second. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, those minutes are approved. Scheduled appointments, Mr. Evans?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Tonight we have with us Ms. Mosine Lowe. She is the Executive Director for the Center for Education. She's going to come and present to us tonight about the work that they do, as well as community benefit provisions for solar ordinances.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and good evening. Again, my name is Mosine Lowe. I am the Executive Director for the Center for Energy Education. We are located in Halifax County. North Carolina is the home base, but our work reaches into South Carolina, into Virginia, and to the Midwest. The work that I do is basically around providing education, workforce training, as it relates to renewable energy. Most of my work falls under the umbrella of solar energy. And what I've found is that, in particular in rural communities, there is a lack of information, there is a lack of participation, and sometimes we don't have all the information that we need to make informed decisions that are good for our communities, our counties. So I actually stepped into this job to think about community benefits for our rural communities. I grew up in Halifax County, I live in Warren County, And I just saw that we were missing some benefits that are available to us, counties that could really benefit from some of the economic workforce education benefits. So that is the space that I step in as executive director. This picture behind you, or maybe in front of you, is actually our building in Halifax County. This is actually a result of a community benefits agreement. Behind the building there is a solar farm, one of the first ones to be built in Halifax County. And the commissioners asked for something in return for leasing their land to solar. So the agreement was made with the county commissioners and with the solar developers to have a education center for the region. That we would be a resource to commissioners, an educational support for the schools, and that we would provide workforce training that would benefit our communities. So that is the work that I do. I have been there for 10 years as the executive director, but our mission is to mainly support rural communities in eastern North Carolina and to make sure that you have the information that you need to be successful in your jobs. We work with many partners across the area. You'll see solar developers, you will see the hospital, Lowe's Home Improvement. We partner with everyone out there to make sure that we have the information that we need and the technical support that we need to be really good at supporting rural communities. So our mission is really to be a resource, again, to rural communities. We don't represent solar companies, but we get to know them. And we make sure early on in the process that they reach out to the stakeholders in the counties, the commissioners, the economic development directors, the planning directors, because we want to make sure that they are included in the process early on. And that is very helpful as we think about community benefits agreements. Being in this role for 10 years, I find that having the conversation about community benefit agreements is missed a lot. And as solar developers come into our communities, I ask them to please reach out to the economic development director, to reach out to our commissioners and the other stakeholders to get to know the county, to get to know the priorities, and to understand just what's important to a county. I ask our commissioners to please take time to meet the solar developers because they have tremendous opportunities. They have tremendous ways to bring opportunities to our counties. And when I talk to commissioners, I say we need to think bigger because these can be long-term investments for the county. So as we get to know the solar developers and as they get to know you all, think about this as an economic development opportunity for the county. Community benefit agreements, there are many types. There are some that are legally formed. There's a legal agreement. For instance, my office building, the Center for Energy Education, was part of a legal agreement. Early on, the commissioner said we wanted something back in return. And so the commissioners and the developers agreed that at the time that the project was in place, constructed, there would be an educational building for the community. That's one example of a legal binding contract. And there are many others out there. Is finding out what's important to you as a county, what are your priorities, what are the big projects that you have in place for your county, and think about that when you talk to them. And then there are the informal kinds of benefits. For my organization, we ask developers to provide funding for us to work with the schools. Education is very important in rural communities. And if you think about, energy projects, there's a lot of noise about solar and wind and renewables, all those things, but there are many jobs out there that could benefit our students, our residents. Some of these jobs you just step right in after high school. You can work from home. Some jobs require a 2-year community college degree, and then there are others that require a 4-year institution. But we ask developers to give us money so that we can offer summer camps to our students, that we can provide educational programs for our teachers, that we have the opportunity to think about different ways to bring energy education into our communities. Because as you know, as you go through the process, the noise gets louder, it gets a little more confusing. There are people that like clean energy, others that don't, but it helps a lot to make sure that our students benefit from all of the jobs that are out there. And there are many jobs out there for our students to participate in. We also ask our developers that when they bring projects into our communities, and this is another informal benefit, we ask them for dollars to train our residents to become entry-level solar installers. So we have worked with Edgecombe Community College, and one of our largest workforce training efforts was for the project in Edgecombe County. It was called FERN, but it was with Edgecombe Community College. We trained 92 people to work on the project. Not all of them were interviewed, not all of them stepped into the job. I think it ended up being like 70-some, but 70-some individuals. But that is a benefit that we advocate for when these projects come into communities. There are other kinds of community projects. For instance, solar developers like to participate in community events. For instance, in Enfield, there is a peanut festival. So we have companies contributing to that. Washington County has a bear festival. So events, fairs, programs that are going on, companies love to participate and to sponsor and to be part of these efforts. So it's about finding ways for the companies, as they work through the process, to bring opportunities to our communities. There's also what is called direct investment. So you probably noticed that when companies come up to present their projects to you, they would talk about millions of dollars over time that they will bring to the county. That's an example of a direct investment that is paid over time. So all of those, so in addition to the tax revenues, in addition to the lease payments, there are tremendous opportunities for these companies to bring long-term investments into counties. Normally when these conversation takes place, it is important that there are the county stakeholders that are in the conversations. So, we want to know people that understand the big picture of the county. What are the important projects? What are the challenges where you could use some dollars to help move a project forward? So normally they reach out to the economic development director, they'll reach out to the county commissioners and other stakeholders as a way to understand what are the big projects that they should include in their budget. So, and that is why I said to consider this as an economic development project, because it is having a conversation with these companies to understand how they can help the county as the project is being determined with the planning director and others. We advise the developers to be regular with the commissioners, that for you all to know the process, the time frame, where the project is located, the property owners. All of these things are important information to have because, as you know, as this project kind of works its way through the county, people have different opinions and the voices get louder and opinions come out. And so sometimes if we don't have these conversations early on, we can lose track of how it could benefit the community, because now we're in the conversations of the people that are pro and against. In terms of best practices, again, we say to our counties to think about this as an economic development opportunity, to think about what projects, what priorities are important to you as a county, and how these projects can help address some of your important projects. A lot of times, companies will come in and they will just find different things to support, like solar lights in the park, or maybe something that is perhaps less important to you. But I would suggest that, just think about, again, what would help your county, the schools, the infrastructure, the roads, just to think about what things that you want to negotiate with them in order to make sure that the county benefits in some way. And as I talked about the center having an education center, there are museums out there. They support parks. They support walking trails. There may be schools that may need some repair. All those things are in the conversation. But as I always say to our leaders, if you don't ask, then you won't get anything. And they're open to providing opportunities. So, again, I've said this a couple of times, but again, is to think about, what are the priorities and the needs of the community, to decide who best represents the county in these conversations, decide how often you would like to meet with them, and just have in writing what would happen if the commitments are not met. Going back to the building that I'm in, the company did not meet the first deadline for the building. So the commissioners came back and had conversations to say, we have to get this building in place. And that's really how we got to be the Center for Energy Education. So some examples of things of community benefits, for schools. I talked about bringing new programs to the schools, science fairs, internships. We have scholarships now for our students in several counties across the region. Solar companies have been asked to assist with roads, school repairs, to help restore buildings for senior citizens. All of these things are opportunities for discussion. I always ask for workforce training if I am meeting with a company, because at the end of the day, if we don't ask, they will bring in people from out of state, out of the area. They get the money, they get the good paying jobs. And although these jobs don't last for years, it's the training they get, it's the certification that they receive that is transferable, and they pay for it. We ask for programs to make homes more energy efficient, all kinds of things that are available to counties just for the asking. So that is kind of my story. I lead the Center for Energy Education. I've been there for 10 years. I sat on many boards out of Raleigh representing the Eastern region. And so I invite you to take advantage of my organization, the information we have, the workforce training, the educational programs that we offer to schools. We'd love to be a resource to you as you think through the solar ordinance and all the other topics that come up as these projects come to your area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, you're late and you're timely. We should have known you were there. I don't know, but it's good information.
Thank you.
And, but how do you, how do you begin this discussion and you have not even approved a permit? It seems like you're negotiating, you would be negotiating the approval of the rezoning or the permit. How do you get into, how do you ask for something and it's, from a company and it's got to come before this board and be approved? I mean, it puts us in position, I believe, and you can help me with this, of appearing that we're going to approve it.
I understand that it appears that way, but part of their application process is to demonstrate that they have commitments in the community, that there's money in the budget to show that they are meeting with folks in the community, they're beginning to understand the community, and that they are investing in the future of the community. That does not guarantee an approval, by no means, but, and they know that, and we know that also. But if we don't, if we don't have a conversation with them and begin to understand the project, where it's located, and all of the details around it, then we miss the opportunity to build a project together that benefits the community. So I've seen a lot of companies come through, and they rush to get a project approved, and it doesn't benefit the county. But if you have that conversation with them early on, and you talk about this and negotiate and work through the project together, the outcome would hopefully be satisfying for both parties. But there is no guarantee. I understand what you're saying. There's no guarantee that it will be approved.
You know, I like a lot of your suggestions, and I think it's important that we begin with you, okay? Especially with a lot of the things that we've got going on, and so a good conversation, and I think our board would certainly. How are you how's your funding? It's based on?
Most of my funding actually comes from foundations.
Foundation.
Foundations that are concerned that counties in northeastern North Carolina, the counties that touch Halifax County, are left out of many conversations. And it is these counties that carry a very heavy energy burden. It is also these counties that seem to not approve or go into a moratorium. And so they want to make sure that the commissioners and others are getting information about the projects. I rely on our solar developer friends to provide educational programs, workforce training, but the bulk of my money is from foundations.
Mr. Evans, it appears to me that one of our committees will get off the list. One of those existing committees that we have to get off the list. But I would hear no objections from this board on, there's some things going on now that we need to put together a list of priorities, because it makes sense on this presentation that they do be vested in our communities. With the
Please.
board, any other comments from the board?
And Mr. Chairman, if I could just share with the board that certainly grateful for Ms. Lowe and the work that she and her team are doing. Our staff have had ongoing conversations with
Yes.
her and her team. Some of our team, they've been to visit and tour the center. And so some of the recommended provisions that's making its way through the process for a revised solar ordinance includes some of the recommendations that we've gotten from Ms. Lowe and her staff.
But we can't put all of it in an ordinance.
That's correct, that's right.
Okay, we can't put all of it in an ordinance, and I see, it makes sense to me that a lot of the things she's suggesting that, you know, maybe it's things that we just hadn't thought about, okay, that we need to include in that discussion, okay, and they can be part of what they agree to in an agreement to do, because I like the agreement, okay? Like, this, I like the agreement in it. Any other comments or questions from the board?
I would say that Durbin Spell, we've invited him in many of our planning board webinars and meetings. He's gone on tours with us. So we really want to support your community, this county, in any way we can, so just reach out.
Well, I just said,
Happy to
you know,
do it.
you late in your own time, okay?
I know, we did that all the time.
Okay, we've been dealing with these,
Yes.
these for,
I've heard.
and we've got some strong opposition also, okay?
Yes.
So I think that, so those are things that we will continue to deal with, so thank you for your presentation.
Happy to help in any way,
Okay.
anytime.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, Ms. Evans.
Next, we have before you tonight, Mr. Kelvin Jones. He is our Parks and Recreation Director. He's going to come and share with you a plaque that he recently received on behalf of the county, as well as to give you an update on some of the work that he's been doing.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Edgecombe County Parks and Recreation continues to experience growth, community engagement by way of innovative programming. Some of our recent highlights include Taquan Lewis Community Weekend 7v7, which is a football showcase where we partnered with Buffalo Wild Wings of Rocky Mount as well as Sunset Slush of Tallboro. We had over 42 participants, which was a day of competition and community. Moving on to our youth as well as elder population engagement. This summer we broke out a chess series that was called The Game of Life, where we went around the county partnering with different youth summer programs, a total of 5, where we taught chess and introduced chess to our residents here in Edgecombe County. I stand before you today happy to announce that we reached numbers of 126 kids this summer by partnering with Comprehensive Interventions, Micro Corporation, Princeville Youth Academy, Rocky Mount OIC Youth Program, as well as the Edgecombe Memorial Library. Our recognition came from Civic Credit Union for our innovative recreational programming, whereas in the month of July, which is Parks and Recreational Month, Civic Credit Union recognized Edgecombe County Parks and Recreation as one of 3 recreational programs in the region for innovative programming, where we were presented with this plaque by Mr. Juan Taylor, who is a Senior Engagement Officer for Civic Credit Union. And it reads, presented to Kelvin D. Jones, Director, in recognition of Edgecombe County Parks and Recreation for its outstanding dedication to enhancing quality of life through innovative and inclusive focused recreational opportunities. Your efforts will continue to contribute to the well-being of unity of Edgecombe County and its citizens. Parks and Recreational Month, July 31st, 2025. Moving on to a departmental update. From the Game of Life series, we were able to produce 2 participants that actually participated in a nationally rated tournament this summer on August the 9th. 1 7-year-old, Carson Jones, 1 8-year-old, Jamal Johnson of Pontops. They both competed in a United States Chess Federation competition in Greenville that was hosted through PACO, which is Pit Area Chess Open Play. They were personally invited by Mr. Rick Smiley, which is the secretary of the North Carolina Chess Association, who attended one of our sessions at the library here in Tallboro, and he decided to invite them from there. They participated on August the 9th, and I'm happy to say a 7-year-old and 8-year-old, they did not finish last in their first national tournament, so that's the plus. I stand before you today also excited to share that Edgecombe County Parks and Recreation is a fully accredited Special Olympics program as of July. I attended my coordinator's training. It was a 2-day training in Raleigh, and we received our accreditation. One thing that I'm looking to do is increase the programming for Special Olympics by adding bocce. As of today, literally about 2 hours ago, Caswell Developmental Center in Kinston gave us an approval to come and shadow their bocce tournament and practices this fall. So I'll be hitting the road a little bit, going to Kinston as well as Craven County to see how we can bring bocce, not only that, but Special Olympic basketball here to Edgecombe County. We have 2 grant applications we're working on right now with North Carolina Youth Outdoor Engagement Commission, which will be due in the next week. We also have the North Carolina Amateur Sports Fund that we will transition to next, that opens on October the 1st. The grants applied will be in hopes of using it towards the Edgecombe County Public School Elementary Basketball League, which we spoke about last year. Edgecombe County Public School System has done an amazing job over the summer. Up until now, we've created a planning committee, which we meet bi-weekly. That consists of myself, Saeed Murphy, Miss Annette Walker, and Superintendent Dr. Andrew Bryant. They have unwavering support, and we're looking to do some amazing things in the spring. So, by keeping the blueprint of the master plan as the catalyst of ECPR, which is Edgecombe County Parks and Recs, that allows us to remain committed to delivering inclusive, meaningful recreational opportunities that will eventually strengthen the community as a whole.
Any questions of,
Good job.
yeah. How long you been with us?
About 18 months, sir.
Good job so far. It is a good report, Ms. Jones. I think we're getting there in terms of you developing this program. It's a good report. I'm like, excited about all those things that you're doing that I don't know how to do, didn't learn how to do as a kid, you know. Thought chess was somebody else's game, not mine.
Yes, sir.
And it's a good place to start. Okay, it's a good place to start. So continue the good work. At this time, we call a public hearing to discuss conditional rezoning, case number 25-CRZ03. The public hearing is called to order. Mr. Peters, would you please read the public notice?
Yes, sir. Public notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Board of Commissioners of Edgecombe County on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025, at 6:00 p.m. in the Jonathan Felton Commissioners Room, second floor, County Administrative Building, 201 St. Andrews Street, Tarboro, North Carolina, to consider and act upon case number 25-CRZ03, a request to rezone a parcel owned by Alpha Land Ventures LLC located on Jenkins Farm Road, Pine Tops, also identified as parcel number 378698504100. The applicant, the Lands Development LLC, requests to rezone property from AR30 Rural Residential to R30C Single Family Residential Conditional District. Copies of the proposed zoning map amendment are available for public inspection during business hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the County Planning Office, Room 205, County Administrative Building, 201 St. Andrews Street, Tarboro, North Carolina. All parties in interest and all interested residents are invited and urged to be present and make their views known. This, the 20th day of August, 2025, by order of the Board of Commissioners of Edgecombe County, signed Tammy Faison, Clerk of the Board.
Mr. Evans?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to call forward Mr. Durbin Spell, our planning director, who will give you an overview of this rezoning request.
Good evening. For this case, 25-CRZ03, the Lands Development LLC have submitted an application for a conditional rezoning request from Rural Residential District, AR30, to Single Family Residential Conditional District, R30C, with the condition that the housing that's permitted will be limited to single-family detached homes. The parcel is located off of Jenkins Farm Road in Pine Tops for a total of 29.32 hundredths of an acre, and is currently zoned AR30. The AR30 Rural Residential District is established to protect rural and undeveloped land from premature development at densities that are inconsistent with the county's adopted policy guidance. Minimal acreage for newly subdivided lots is 30,000 square feet. The R30 single-family residential district has a suburban character, typically comprised of single-family detached residential uses in numerous locations throughout the county's planning jurisdiction. Minimal lot size for newly subdivided lots in that district is 30,000 square feet. As you see in our comprehensive plan recommends this parcel to be of a suburban land use. And that's the zoning map. And then we did some site visits and took some pictures of the surrounding area. And then in your packet, you should have a copy of the concept plan. The applicant's proposing a 25-lot subdivision. At the conclusion of this legislative public hearing, the Board of Commissioners shall decide the conditional rezoning application in accordance with the standards of Section 2.3.5.g review criteria. The decision shall be one of the following per Section 2.3.5.f.2. Approval of the application, denial of the application, approval of a revised application, or remand of the application to the planning board for further consideration. And in making its decision, the Board of Commissioners shall adopt a written statement of reasonableness and consistency with the county's adopted policy guidance in accordance with Section 160D -605 of the North Carolina General Statute. And if the rezoning is approved, then the next step would be for the applicant to submit a preliminary plat for the planning board review and consideration of approval. And now I present to you the applicant, Mr. Bernard McLeod with the Lands Development LLC. He'll give you more details about his request, as well as be able to answer any questions y'all may have.
Good afternoon. My name is Bernard McLeod. Just to introduce myself, I'm a residential and commercial real estate developer. Some of my commercial clients include Wawa, Sheetz, Cookout, Rural Farms, Chick-fil-A. So just to name a few of people I develop for. I'm also a hotel owner for Marriott, for Marriott hotels throughout North Carolina. Just to introduce myself, I am requesting a rezoning today, just to show the board what type of developer I am. This property was already zoned AR30, which had similar characteristics to the rezoning request that I'm doing. But in the, excuse me, in the zoning that it already had, it allowed for mobile homes, it allowed for some things that we don't develop. So we did a conditional rezoning to kind of show the board that we're gonna develop something that looks nice. We're not gonna throw mobile homes up in your area. We're gonna put a nice park there. And so that's why we did the rezoning request. It will stimulate some growth with this rezoning request. It'll stimulate some job opportunities. It may be small because it's the first one, but I have about 2,000 acres of your property under contract to buy within the next year or so. But just telling a few of my friends about me coming out to this area, I had one of them already reach out to the Family Dollar that you have vacant to put a kids facility in there. So like they own a Mega Play facility. They have one in Fayetteville, Spring Hope, Jacksonville. They own a place called Inflatable Worlds in Kinston. That will create some jobs. They have about 25 employees at all their locations. I've been in talks with Wawa potentially about creating more houses so they can come to the area. It's also going to be a nice development because of how Darwin has your UDO. I've never seen a 700-page UDO before, but we got through it. Yeah, but we got through it. I mean, there might be some things we need to change in the future just to help you. Like I said, I do have over 2,000 acres under contract, so I do plan on helping with some schools and just some different things that you guys need help with. I can bring a lot of people to the area. I can bring a lot of businesses, small businesses. I can bring a lot of attractions here. So just that's what I do. This neighborhood is going to comprise of 25 single-family homes, all smaller sort, so we can keep them on the affordable side. If you look me up personally, I build a lot of affordable townhomes and a lot of affordable homes when we actually build them. So we plan on building this community to keep it affordable. A lot of the national builders don't build $220,000 homes anymore. They're all around $300,000. So we plan to keep this neighborhood very affordable It also matches the aesthetics around it. It's already zoned for this for your future comprehensive use. We just want to make it better. We want to make you have a better community. And like I said, I have a lot of your acreage under contract, so you'll be seeing me a lot trying to get some things done with you guys.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to call for public comments. Is there anybody here that would like to speak? If so, please come forward and state your name and address for the public record. Is there anybody to speak? Hearing none, I will adjourn the public hearing, and it comes to us recommended by the planning board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman, can I just clarify for the record, the motion would be to affirmatively approve, and you have in your agenda packet.
You're exactly right. Excuse me, let's back up. Okay, let's back up. Is there a motion to approve the application? Let me read. If we're going to approve this, the Edgecombe County Board of Commissioners concludes that the application as presented is consistent with the Edgecombe County's adopted policy guideline as expressed in 2014-2034 comprehensive plan based on the following reason. It supports land use policy number 1, use of plan. It supports housing policies number 1, housing option and diversity. Is there a motion for that?
Yes, so moved.
Second?
Second.
Is that correct, Mr. Peters?
That'll be fine.
That'll be
You
fine?
can do a separate motion for the reasonable.
I will do that. Okay. All in favor, let it be known by voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Also, that the application is reasonable. The Edgecombe County Board of Commissioners concludes that the application as presented is reasonable and is in the public interest based on the following reason. It encourages land use development in areas with infrastructure and promotes population growth. It increases housing options to meet various needs of diverse population. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Questions?
Just, can I,
Go right ahead, excuse me.
just for public, this is not, it's more restrictive in the zoning request, correct? So it's not changing anything, just to kind of state, I think he stated it, but just to kind of state what this
He
is.
is limiting.
He is limiting what he can
Yes.
build in this zoning request.
That's correct.
So by us approving this, we're limiting the development.
That's correct.
At the petitioner's request.
Yes.
Correct.
Any other
That's
questions?
unusual.
Any
So I
other-
just wanted to clarify that
It
to the
is.
public.
He cut his opposition down. Is there any other questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Look like you can move on. Okay.
I just answered your question. That is a sport for disabled kids over. I have a disabled son, so it's very, very good. Hope you guys get that.
Okay.
I participate in a lot of things like that. My son has autism, so it's a very good sport when they throw the ball. I heard you asking what it was. Throw the ball at the right time. It's very good for disabled.
Good to know you're looking at those tricks.
Especially kids with autism because it helps with emotion.
Absolutely.
You took some space. Okay.
Make sure you get somebody in that family dollar.
Mr. Chairman,
That empty space.
before he leaves, I hope I'm not in,
You're not out of order. Go ahead. Hold it for you.
I hope I'm not out of order, and I've not met the gentleman before, Mr. Spell has, but I think I'm interested, curious, and maybe the citizens here might be curious as to what it is that an investor saw, an investor who's not from this county, what they saw in Edgecombe County that would prompt him to come and make an investment here in our county. As you know, we've been seeing more of this. I think it's a positive sign, and I think it will be helpful for us to know at least what he saw in the county, if that's okay.
Would you be interested in addressing that?
You drove down this road here. You came back with all of this. Tell us why.
One reason was the flooding in the next town over. I had a grave concern with that. A lot of flooding over there, and nobody's fixed it for 50, 75 years. To me, I'm not an engineer, but all I speak is engineer language. It doesn't seem like a hard fix. So I wanted to come to be a part of the community, wanted to kind of put some pressure on some people to kind of see what we can do about that flooding over there. And then two, the next reason is we do a lot of research on areas that has potential growth. I was in a lot of conversations with the baseball situation that happened in Wilson, so I was a part of that. I was trying to get it in Kinston because it's closer to me. Ultimately went to Wilmington, and then we saw the battery plant situation. Even though we saw the funding has kind of went the other way with it, we still see the potential growth. Amazon plant is here at the mega site, and then one of my commercial agents that he does rural farms with me, he has a lot of stuff going out there at the Kingsborough site, the mega site. So he was been giving me information for like the past year about Edgecombe County. And it's, Durham is easy along with. That's another reason. And me and my partner joke that we don't know if you guys are 20 years ahead or 20 years behind, because some of the stuff in your UDO and some of the ways that you do it is kind of different. So like the in-person meeting, it wasn't like a Zoom meeting. I had to physically drive. And so some of those things are just interesting. And I mean, it's a pretty simple process to get things approved, although your UDO is large.
Well, that made you come, so we might not
Yeah.
keep that large, okay? Okay. So you
So
come, so you
Yeah,
come.
well, I mean, Kim and Morgan went through a lot of it with us. They actually sat down. They're very good at going through it. They print you out, and that's why I came as well. They print you out colorized information based off what you need. It's labeled. It tells you what you need to do. They're very communicative. You know, it's only 2 people you have to go through. In my county, they just changed the rules. But prior in my county, you would have to go through him, her, him, and then go back around the board again, and then go back around the board again. So this process was easier. But I do see a lot of growth. But I will tell you that the farmers are starting to get greedy, and they're raising the price of unusable land to a price that is going to keep developers away eventually. A lot of your land is wet, creeks, and they're just going up and up on the price, and it's going to keep some developers away. So that's something also to think about. Also, if the county has some county-owned land, I work with Onslow County with developing new schools. The new superintendent, I was his first class, one of his first students. He's a superintendent of Onslow County Schools, Dr. Barnes, Dr. Gardner, who's the builder of Onslow County Schools. So I work directly with them. I'm actually working on a plan right now to build 2 schools with them, going up instead of the long way. So I can help with a lot of things. But that's why I came there to Edgecombe County, mega center, cheap land, easy to do developments. Those are the main reasons.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for public petitions, and we've somewhat changed the public petition process. Is there anybody here that has not signed up to speak, that would like to speak? If not, we will only hear from those people that have signed up. If not, read the first person off.
Mamie Battle in proxy for Cheryl Grant.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm Mamie Battle. And I'm here for Cheryl Gunter. And the reason that I came up to speak is that the proposal that the gentleman just talked about is adjacent to the property that we live on, or she lives on. And she's not able to be here, she's out of town. And she was concerned about the drainage and flooding of the current residents in that area with the new development. So she wanted to bring that up.
And I think that will, Mr. Phil, that will be addressed during the committee process. Would you want to speak to her comment?
Yes, so the next step is he will submit a preliminary plat, and so in your packets, you did see a number of comments from
Right.
TRC, and all that would be addressed during that process.
Well, why don't you get her name and let her, that she's speaking for Mr. Gunter, make sure that she understands,
Yes.
okay?
Yes, sir.
Would you, okay. Is anybody else, who is next?
That's it, sir.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
There's nobody else to speak at public petition. Next, moving on to other business. Approval of budget amendments, is that 1 through 8, Mr. Evans?
I will ask that you hold number 3 for a later agenda item, but recommend that you approve numbers 1 and 2 and 4 through 8.
Is there-
Happy to answer any questions.
Is there a motion? Based on what this,
So moved.
second? Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign, aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none. All of the budget amendments are approved with the exception of 3, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Next,
Next is regarding recommended changes to the Health Department's fee schedule. You'll see a list of the vaccinations that are in your agenda packet. These changes are proposed due to changes in the cost of the listed vaccination and/or the cost to administer them. As a note, at their last meeting, the Human Services Board unanimously approved recommending these fee changes.
motion,
So moved. Second.
questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign, aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next.
As I'm going through giving you the background and context for agenda item C, we do have Mr. Mitch Berguglio with Davenport, which is our financial advisors. We'll invite him to come to the podium that he can add to what I'm about to say and answer any questions that you have. But as you know, the county is moving forward with the needed capital improvements and equipment purchases to finance these projects. Staff members have worked with our county's financial advisor as well as legal advisors to structure an installment financing arrangement through the Edgecombe County Public Facilities Corporation. This financing approach allows the county to fund several critical projects while spreading the costs over time. The transaction is subject to approval by the Local Government Commission, which is scheduled to consider our application at their next meeting on September the 9th. The installment financing contract includes improvements to county facilities, including HVAC, electrical, and roof replacements at the Human Services Building and 1912 Building and other facilities, the acquisition of rolling stock vehicles, including patrol vehicles for the sheriff and related equipment needed for county operations, and the acquisition of solid waste disposal, our solid waste department equipment to support our solid waste management system. Financing will be secured by a deed of trust on the Human Services Building and the 1912 Building. The Edgecombe County Public Facilities Corporation will issue up to $5 million in limited obligation bonds, which will be purchased by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. As you know, we went through that bidding process, which was brought before you at your last meeting. You have a resolution attached that will authorize us to enter into the installment financing contract and related agreements, approves the projects to be financed, and designates authorized officers to execute all the required documents. I do recommend that you adopt the resolution as presented, subject to the approval by the LGC at their September 9th meeting.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I couldn't have said it any better, Mr. Evans. I think you summarized that very nicely. This is your final approval this evening, if you choose to approve it. Last action you all will need to take will go to the Local Government Commission next Tuesday. And if they approve the financing, we'll close on September 16th, have the funds in hand and available for the project.
Any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second? Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none. So.
Thank
so
you all.
moved. All right. Great. Next, Ms. Evans.
Next is regarding an offer to purchase. Bear with me 1 second. An offer to purchase was received from Go Forth Solar LLC to purchase property that the county owns at Kingsborough Business Park located behind the former QVC facility for $350,000. The purchase is related to the proposed data center located at the same location, which is to include its own power generation and carbon capture facilities. The offer to purchase is contingent upon zoning being available contingent to the project or subsequent to the project. If the offer to purchase is accepted by the board, the minimum 10-day public notice must then be given for upset bid. As you see the property description, parcel number, the acreage is 21.55 acres. Current tax value is $76,965. The offer includes an option to purchase the adjoining property consisting of 100 acres for $5,000 for the option. And I do need to clarify, the principles of the project are here tonight. It's not included in what you have in your agenda packet, but I need for you all to hear from them what the proposed purchase amount is for the second parcel. I believe you communicated that to us before, but it's not here, so I just want to. If you come to.
Dan Schaefer. The amount is 1.65 million for 100 acres.
Thank you. So now that we have that clarified, it's 1.65 million for those 100 acres. I do recommend that you accept this offer to purchase and authorize staff to publish a notice for upset bid and to approve the option to purchase for the adjoining property, authorizing Mr. Peters to prepare and me to execute on behalf of the county. I do want to make a couple of additional notes to that. First of all, you'll see that the offer is from an entity called Go Forth Solar LLC. But I do want to make sure it is clear that this is not a solar project. As you all know, that we currently have a moratorium on accepting any new special use permit applications for solar projects in the county. Also, just to be clear on the project, the ultimate project they plan to build on site, if the board approves, is there will be a data center that will provide its own power generation through the use of natural gas that is available near the site. As I mentioned before, the project includes equipment and new technology that will capture carbon that is a result of burning of the natural gas, and they propose that there will be a total of 500 jobs available or produced here for this project. Depending on the upset bid, you'll be asked at a later time to then final approval of the sale of the property.
I'll ask for any questions or comments from the board before I ask for a motion.
Mr. Evans, can you clarify for the public that our zoning does not currently allow for data centers to be built?
That's correct. We don't have anything in our current development ordinance that speaks to a data center. So staff is in the process of drafting a text amendment that will be going to the planning board at their next meeting, September 15th. And their recommendation will come back to this board. Of course, before you take action on making any changes to your zoning ordinance, you'll have to have a public hearing. Right now, the plan is to include language that will make this a permitted use in Zone M2, which is what Kingsborough is, with some development standards to go with it.
And if in fact that the UDO is approved, this property will not require rezoning, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
If they apply after the text amendment has been approved, they will apply, we will assume, based on the standards, development standards that are that will be included in the revised zoning ordinance.
Are there any other comments or anything that we might need to advise the public on? Mr. Peters, would you be thinking?
I think Mr. Evans has summarized it well.
You think it's been summarized in terms of as we proceed, what is going on? Okay.
I was asked the question, why are the attachments not available on our website of what we're voting on?
We post our entire agenda packet. Yes.
Okay. At this time, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All in Go ahead, go
Just comment.
ahead.
I don't feel that it's appropriate for us to approve this tonight because it's not a permitted use in our zoning. And so by us approving this tonight without that public input of what that is, I feel like we're giving the perception of that we will approve this in our zoning without public input.
That is not the intent of the board. The intent of the board is to move forward with the sale of the land. We have not approved anything as it relates to whether we will approve that or not. All in favor, let it be known by the vote. Is there any other comments or questions? All in favor, let it be known by the vote and sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Motion passed 5-1. Okay. Moving on.
Item E is regarding capital funding for Edgecombe Memorial Library. Edgecombe Memorial Library has requested funding from both the county and the town of Tarboro, excuse me, to replace the heating and air system in a section of the library. As you know, we share both operational and capital costs for the library with the town of Tarboro. The total needed is $75,000 and the county share is $53,250 based on our agreed upon funding formula with the town. Tarboro has already appropriated the funds. As you see from the letter attached, Ms. Sue Howard, the director of the library, who is here tonight, is seeking grant funds to help cover some of the cost. Therefore, if grant funds are awarded, it will reduce the amount to be paid by the county and the town. I believe this is a necessary expense and therefore recommend that you approve the appropriation of $53,250 as requested, as well as budget amendment number 3 that you saw earlier in your packet.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the vote and sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next.
Next is regarding the Lone Pine Mobile Home Park wastewater system improvement. Before you is the funding offer from the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, Division of Water Infrastructure, through their state revolving fund, in the amount of $2,724,100 to construct the Lone Pine Mobile Home Park wastewater system improvements project. Of the total funding offer amount, $862,050 is state revolving fund loan, $500,000 is state revolving fund principal forgiveness, and $1,362,050 is grant. The project will help to alleviate failing septic systems to approximately 100 residences in the Lone Pine Mobile Home Park and along Ridgewood Road. I recommend that you approve the enclosed funding offer package, the grant project ordinance as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Questions?
I have a question.
Go right ahead.
Does the owner of Lone Pine Mobile Home Park have any skin in the game as far as this?
Not as far as this loan, no, ma'am. Other than the occupants will be paying sewer bill once it's available, that will help, revenues from that will help pay back the loan on this.
But the owner doesn't have to pay anything toward it?
No.
Any other questions? All in favor, let it be known by the vote and sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
Mr. Chairman, with that same agenda item, you'll see that there is included behind that a contract with the Wooten Company for engineering services that will be, the cost of which will be paid for from project funds. I recommend that you approve that contract as well.
Motion?
So moved.
Second? I got second. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the vote and sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next.
Next is regarding the submission of projects to Golden Leaf Foundation. The Golden Leaf Foundation's Community-Based Grant Initiative, or CBGI, is designed to identify projects with the potential to have a significant impact in the building blocks of economic development. Eligible projects include those that address job creation and economic investment, agriculture, and workforce preparedness. Each county may endorse up to 4 projects for consideration with no single project exceeding $1.5 million. Golden Leaf will make no more than 3 awards totaling $1.5 million per county. Only projects endorsed by the county will be eligible to move forward to full application. Following the call for proposals, we received a total of 13 submissions. A review committee of the county staff and representatives from partner agencies with experience in grant writing and grant making evaluated each proposal. The committee considered alignment with CBGI priorities, project readiness, sustainability, and the overall potential impact. After compiling and averaging the scores, the following 4 proposals rank the highest and are recommended for submission to Golden Leaf. The first is an application submitted by us, the county, which we call the Edgecombe Works Better Project. This is to make workforce system improvements by building more collaborative partnerships and broadening the Career Navigator approach. This also includes using the Edgecombe Works Career Campus as the hub for workforce system collaboration, and the request includes funding for equipment and upfit. The second one is from Rural Opportunity Institute, and that is to increase the pipeline for health-related careers, increasing internship opportunities, and improving job placement. The third one is for the town of Tarboro, building a farmer's market and multi-purpose pavilion to boost tourism and agribusiness. And the fourth is Edgecombe County Schools. We call it Project Number 1. They submitted 2 projects. And this project is to create a welding program at Tarboro High School, partnering with Edgecombe Community College to increase the attainment of work-ready job credentials. These recommendations are based on the objective scoring process conducted by the review committee. Request that the board approves the endorsement of the above 4 projects for submission to Golden Leaf Foundation.
I'll ask for any questions here before I get a motion.
I have a couple questions.
Go right ahead.
First of all, this Rural Opportunity Institute, increase the pipeline. I probably need to look at the, what they submitted to really find out what I need to know. 'Cause that really doesn't tell me anything. And number 4, Edgecombe County Schools Project Number 1. Now, students across the county are already able to go through a welding program at the community college. So why does Tarboro High need to establish its own when they already have the opportunity, and many of their students still already come to Edgecombe Community College welding program?
Right. Well, I believe from the proposal, at least what I can recall, is this is a partnership with the community college, because the community college would be doing the training. They have some other trade-type programs currently at some of the high schools. I know Southwest has maybe bricklaying and some others, I can't remember. Agribusiness.
They have a welding program.
That they partner with the community college already. I think the idea or the goal is to help increase the number of high school students who not only can get that training, but have some path that will lead them to employment before they graduate from high school.
So do we know if Tarboro High was the only school interested? I mean, we got other high schools.
I don't
that
know.
students
This is
might
the
be
one,
interested
what
in
they
that.
submitted. I'm not sure.
See, I needed to read them. That's. Oh, and I was looking for. I've seen the proposal for OIC, which is wanted to increase healthcare, and that's why when I saw this Rural Opportunity Institute, I was just wondering how that scoring was actually done. That it didn't place a little bit higher for it not to even be in the top.
OIC's project is to redo, there's a building, I think it used to be a hospital building at the corner of Rose Street and, can't think of the name of the street.
Arlington.
Arlington, there you go. A building that I believe.
Atlantic there goes into Arlington. It's
Right.
Atlantic
That's right,
and Rose.
To provide mental health and substance abuse services, and they have a workforce development component. So, you know, it was a strong project, but based on the ranking of those that did the scoring, it did not score as high as some of the others.
And we've had a conversation, and we think it's a good project. Okay, it's a project that we hope we will probably be recommending something to the board at any given point, if we can support it. Any other questions? Did I got a motion in a second? I didn't get a motion.
I don't think
Is there a motion?
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next,
Next is to call for a public hearing regarding conditional rezoning, case 25-RZ05. I'm going to ask Mr. Spell if he would come up and give you a summary of this project.
Thank you, and actually this will be a conventional rezoning case. So the applicant, Mr. Robert Coggins III, has requested to rezone property located at 4303 NC 43 North in Pine Tops. The applicant proposes to rezone parcel identification number 3795-734714, which will consist of 1.2 1 and 2800ths of an acre from B1 Light Business District to AR30 Rural Residential District. And so right now the applicant is in the process of subdividing the property to get it to that 1.1 acre and 1.2800ths of an acre. And so he's requesting to rezone that portion of that property. So the request is to call for a public hearing for your October meeting.
the motion,
So moved.
second.
Second?
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the public hearing is called. Thank you. Next, Mr. Evans.
Next is regarding lottery fund applications for Edgecombe School System. The Edgecombe School System plans to use state lottery funds to perform HVAC repairs at both Baskerville Elementary and Fairview Elementary. To use these funds for these projects, the Board of Commissioners must jointly request the release of these funds along with Edgecombe County School System. Therefore, before you are the applications for the public school building capital funds, which have already been approved by the school board. I recommend that you approve the applications to request these funds.
Motion approved,
So moved.
second. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next.
You have before you tonight the updated regional hazard mitigation plan. This is covers Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson counties and was recently updated, and staff coordinated that with other two counties. This is a requirement under the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000 and establishes our county strategy for reducing long-term risk to people, property, and critical infrastructure from natural and man-made disasters. Adoption of this plan ensures continued eligibility for federal emergency management agency funds, mitigation funding, and demonstrates our county's commitment to risk reduction. Hazard profiles that are specific to Edgecombe County that are addressed include flooding, tornadoes, dam and levee failure, hurricanes and tropical storms, winter weather, wildfire, cyber threat, heat emergencies, and others. I recommend that you adopt the resolution that is provided for you that will approve the updated regional hazard mitigation plan.
Your motion,
So moved.
second.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Oh, you got in your agenda package, you have a list of appointments or reappointments to get off the list. Advisory Board, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they are reappointed. After listing releases for review and approval, anything to be brought to the board's attention?
No, sir. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they are approved. Contracts for review and approval, anything to be brought to the board's attention, Mr. Evans?
Yes, sir. I do want to point out, you'll see that there are contracts and change orders for your approval. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, but I do want to specifically point out that the first one for Expansion Solutions LLC, which is to provide temp service assistance with applications and recertifications for our food and nutrition program. This also requires approval of sole source contract, being that this is a specialized service and the only available vendor to provide this service is Expansion Solutions LLC. So I recommend that you approve the change orders and contracts as presented, and also to approve sole source contract for Expansion Solutions.
Can I get a motion to approve that as stated?
So moved. Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they both are approved. You have at your, in your agenda package, you have department reports. We normally hear from our financial officer, Mr. Evans.
Yes, sir. I'd like to invite Ms. Barfield to come up and give you a monthly update.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Well, I guess as you can see in some of the numbers on the report, it's really early in the fiscal year. We're only about 2 months in, and at this point, you know, the numbers aren't too reliable to tell us where we're going to go or where we're headed. A lot of our revenues, as I stated last month, were accrued back to fiscal year 25. But I do have some good news about that. It does look like with 11 months in on our sales tax that we are, in almost every category, we have exceeded our budget for FY25 in terms of sales tax collections. There was an article or two that may not perform as well, but they're definitely overshadowed by the ones who did. And next month I'll be able to give you a definite number of what we received versus what we budgeted. As the year progresses, you know, we'll be able to tell a little bit more about the collections and the trend. We'll get a clearer picture of how things are shaping up for 26. And again, a lot of it is the sales tax that you see missing because we counted it in 25. The ad valorem taxes are also behind just because we have two systems and the timing between when we receive the reports, when we're able to get them booked in the system. Oftentimes, again, we have to have this report ready for the meeting, so those are always playing catch up. In terms of water and sewer, it looks like as far as purchasing and financing, operations and water purchases are flowing normally. We don't have any concerns at this stage within that fund. Solid waste, nothing at this early stands out as unusual, and everything appears to be on track. So I think I'll just leave you with a closing note, and just the big takeaway is, you know, as we get more data in these reports, we'll be able to tell you a little bit more how we're trending. And we hope to do that, you know, over the next several months. But as for now, we appear to be where we should be at this point in the fiscal year.
Any questions?
And I'm sorry, one more thing. I do like to share with you the updates. So our auditors will be here next Wednesday and Thursday doing their third and final on-site visit. So we're all geared up and working hard for that visit. So things are looking good so far on the audit front, and we're encouraged that they're going to stay that way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Evans?
It's not listed under my section of reports, but I do want, the board is already aware, we've also sent out a release to local press, but just for the public that's here tonight, unfortunately, we found out on Friday of last week from Natron Energy that they are not moving forward with the project here in Edgecombe County. In fact, they are making plans to dissolve the company. Just for context, it is somewhat of a startup company, though what they would build here, or what they were planning to build, would take them from a small company to a pretty big company in a matter of months. However, they found that even with a great product that they have, which is the sodium-ion battery, that they had more difficulty than they anticipated in securing all of the funding that they needed to make the project happen. So we are certainly saddened to hear of that news. Sad for us, but also sad for folks with Natron. We got a chance to get to know some of them, particularly the CEO and others, in the months that we've been working with them. But they had over 100 employees that they had to break the news to last week. I'm hopeful that somehow, some way, that product, that battery will rise from the corporate ashes of all of this and find its way to the marketplace, because there's a huge demand and a growing demand for their product. And who knows, maybe they will find a road back to Edgecombe County. But, you know, as again, do not want to minimize the heaviness of that news that we found out on Friday. But I think what helps to temper that blow a little bit is that though we had a lot of eggs in that one basket, we did not have all of our eggs in that basket. We have other projects, positive things that are happening. The gentleman mentioned earlier some things he had taken notice of, like Amazon and Prudential Steel, some other projects that are in the pipeline, expansion of some existing businesses that that we feel like are sure to happen, but we don't want to steal those companies' thunder when they plan to announce those things. So we are, as our staff and working with Mr. Pike and his team, you know, we're just shifting into another gear to put Pad B back actively marketed by Caroline's Gateway team as well as the state team, and hopefully we can land something there. You have in your agenda packet the key dates for our solar farm moratorium extension. At your last meeting, I had read out these activities and the proposed timeline for these, but I wanted you to have those in writing so that you can see these are things that we will be doing to continue to study what ultimately will be a recommendation to you all as to what changes we may want to make to our ordinance as it relates to solar energy systems. Also, you all voted to approve for Reverend Hines, leave of absence. Thank you, I was searching for that term. Leave of absence for Commissioner Hines, who unfortunately is facing some health issues and unable to serve in the seat currently. And you also voted to accept applications to consider a temporary fill for that seat for the remainder, potentially the remainder of his term. We published a notice requesting applications from interested parties from District 7. The deadline was this past Friday, the 29th, and we received 2 applications, and they were Mr. Larry Woodley and Mr. John Manley. Both of those do live in the district. So I have, as we had discussed before, but I wanted to bring back to you just to make sure that you are okay with the process. Now that we've closed out the applications for those who want to be considered for filling that seat temporarily, Mr. Chairman, I believe your intention is for the board's personnel committee to review those applications and to interview those 2 applicants. I will assist the committee in scheduling those preliminary interviews. The personnel committee will conduct those interviews. The chairwoman for the personnel committee, Commissioner Harris, will provide a summary of the information gathered from those interviews that will be provided to all of the board members. And then you all as a board, I would suggest that you call a special meeting for the candidates to present publicly to the board, and for you all to have as a collective the opportunity to ask those candidates questions. Provided that you want to continue to proceed with the temporary appointment for District 7, an agenda item will be added for consideration at your next regularly scheduled board meeting, which potentially could be your October meeting. Now, when it comes down to voting for the temporary appointment, as you know, a majority vote of the board members in attendance, provided there is a quorum, is needed for the temporary appointee. And so any commissioner may make a motion to appoint the candidate. As with any other motion, a second is needed or the motion will fail. Mr. Chairman, you can then call for discussion, then call for a vote. If the candidate receives a majority vote of the board members in attendance, provided there is a quorum, then the candidate will receive the appointment. If not, a commissioner may make a motion to appoint the other candidate. After all motions, no candidate receives a majority vote of the board members in attendance, provided there is a quorum, then no candidate will be appointed. In the case that no one is appointed at that meeting, you can choose to do one of three things as I see it. You could choose to leave the seat open. You could table the matter and bring it back for consideration at a future meeting, or you could reopen the acceptance for applicants, for other applicants to be considered. Again, just to back up, the next step would be for the Personnel Committee to meet and to interview these two candidates.
Let's be clear, Mr. Evans, where you say if they do not receive an appointment, the commission can make the motion to appoint another candidate. That would be either one of those candidates.
Either one of those
not,
candidates.
Okay,
That's
not
correct.
another candidate. Okay.
When I first drafted this, it was before the application period had
Right,
closed.
okay, okay. And that personnel committee is, Ms. Harris is the chair, Mr. Thorne is a member, and Ms. Powell will be acting as a third member of that committee, okay? Are there any questions or proposed changes that this board might want to talk about? If not, this appears to be the process that we'll be using for the selection to fill that vacancy. There are no questions on this. Okay. What was this? Got. Okay. Moving on. I think we got special recognition of special birthday celebration.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We have two of our citizens that are reaching a very special birthday coming up soon. Mrs. Lucy Dowd Whitehead and Mrs. Mary Frances Bellamy Hinton. You have in your agenda packet resolutions that if you so choose, you may adopt to recognize these young ladies.
I'm going to ask for a motion to approve resolution in celebration of the 100th birthday of Mrs. Lucy Dowd Whitehead and a resolution in celebration of the 100th birthday of Mrs. Mary Frances Bellamy Hinton. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye. Aye. All opposed? They are approved. Let it be known that it is approved. Thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. Okay. And that is what we would like to continue to do, make sure when people reach that milestone that we recognize them.
I'll be attending Ms. Hinton's, and so I will,
We will make sure that you,
I'll read that one. They've already asked me to read the one that came from Congressman Davis.
thank you for that. At this time,
Mr. Chairman, if I could, just a couple other things that are not listed on the manager's
go
report.
right ahead. Go ahead.
I would like for you all to let you know that USDA State Director, Mr. Robert Hosford, his team has reached out to us, and he would like to visit the county and to do a ribbon cutting for the District 6 sewer project that's now complete, town of Princeville. As you know, USDA has significant investment in that project. And so right now, tentatively, the date is September the 25th at 10 a.m. We will send out official notices, but wanted to at least give you all the opportunity to mark that on your calendar. Again, this is USDA State Director Robert Hosford, and of course, we'll be participating with leadership town of Princeville to recognize that very important project for us and for the town. Also, I want to let you know about the Clerks Academy Regional Meeting and School Supply Drive. Edgecombe County is excited to host the 2025 Eastern Regional Clerks Academy on September 26, 2025 here in Tarboro. Academy will be held at Edgecombe Community College in their Center for Innovation Multipurpose Room. Ms. Faison, our clerk to the board, has been nominated to serve on the North Carolina Association of County Clerks Program Committee, who works diligently with the UNC School of Government to select educational and fun topics for the regional academies. In keeping with the mission of the North Carolina Association of County Clerks, specific projects to help develop strong leadership. A service project is part of their regional meeting. Edgecombe County is partnered with Edgecombe County Public Schools for their Stuff the Bag school supply drive. Ms. Faison is asking for everyone to visit our Amazon wish list link provided on the flyer that you may have seen posted around different places. I believe you have a copy at your seat, and it lists the needed items and or drop off of the most requested items to stuff the backpacks which will be delivered to classrooms at the administration building. She has a place up in our office suite where if anyone wants to drop off any supplies that you can do that. So I want to thank Ms. Faison for leading that charge. I think it's a wonderful project that they're doing, and we're happy to host them here in the county.
Hopefully all of y'all have already dropped your stuff off, right?
Have until, got a couple weeks.
Now, you kind of coming before your time. Now comments from the commissioners, okay? Okay. Any comments from the
Hopefully every
commissioners?
commissioner has already dropped their supplies off.
One comment, and it's come to my attention over the last couple of weeks about some changes to our flood maps. I think Mr. Spell's been involved in that and what that process looks like, but just stressing the importance for everyone. I know that the town is crafting a response to that and making sure that we join in that response. There's some serious changes that are coming or that are being proposed, including some work that's been done to the levee that maybe didn't go through the proper channels to notify the people that work was done to the levee. That's changed how that's going to flood map their property. And then also decommissioning the levee. So the town principal will no longer be a preferred zone and will be an AE zone according to the decommissioning of that levee. So some major changes that are facing us. And so making sure, I think that the town is crafting a pretty bold response to that effort, and I think that we need to be in lockstep with them on that response, on how we do that.
Decommissioning the levy means what? Funding?
They won't take care of it.
Well, right now, the levee there for Princeville has essentially said it protects the town, and therefore it is not in a 100-year floodplain. It's in an X zone. I think what they're proposing to do is saying it does not protect the town, and therefore properties there would be subject to flood insurance. And I believe there's a public meeting. Is there a meeting coming up?
Flood insurance that they can't pay.
Right, I thought they already had that requirement already.
If they participate in FEMA or related programs, that's a requirement of the program, but not necessarily because of the zone. It's to get the assistance.
Cost would go way up.
Way up.
Yes, there was a
I'm
public
paying it.
meeting that was going to be scheduled in September, but the state wanted to reach out to Princeville to make sure and talk with the town of Princeville. So last word on the public meeting looked to be held maybe late October or early November, that time frame after the state talks with the Princeville officials.
This doesn't just affect Princeville. It affects a lot of East Tarboro, and it affects this building. In the proposed zone, we are now in a flood zone in this building. So some major discussions that need to be had on that.
I'd like to find out what $40 million is that was promised in 2017. President Trump promised it in 2017. I want to know where it is.
So,
Ask Princeville, have they gotten it yet?
I'll pass the question along.
Any other questions or anything else from any of our commissioners?
I have a couple of things.
Go right ahead.
I attended the 118th North Carolina Association of County Commissioners Conference, August 20th through 23rd. A couple of things happened. First, I'd like for our DSS Director, Betty Battle, to stand. I see you back there, Betty. Ms. Battle was one of the heroic hands. Our President Davis, that was his theme for his year as president. He wanted to recognize regular people around the county who were doing heroic things but were not being noticed. And so your manager and I, we sent in Ms. Battle's name because she served Edgecombe County for like 40 years. And I think it takes a lot of heroics to stay a county employee for that long and to give the service that she has given to our county. So I'd like us to give her a round of applause. Her picture was posted on the wall with all the other folks from around the state in different counties as one of the heroic hands. And so Eric and I went over there and stood proudly, beside it. So we appreciate that. A couple of other things that happened. We have new leadership with the NCACC. Our new president is Wallace Nelson from Perquimans County. He's now the president. He's a pharmacist. And our new second VP is Shanika Thomas from Wake County. She's Wake County Commissioner. And then we had Jada Smith that came to our meeting last month. She was among 64 young people from around the state with our young youth voices. And one of the things they had to do is they had to be commissioners for a day. And they had to put together a budget. And so sitting at the table, Jada and a couple of other ones said they really see us as inspirations because they don't know how in the world we do a budget. Because they had arguments among their board members.
Did you tell the staff to it?
And everything. She said they didn't understand how you decide who gets what and how you spread the money around. So they were really impressed. That game really gave them an eyesight into what kind of things commissioners really have to go through. But she made us very proud. She had a lot of information. So we're very proud of her. The next thing was one of our own Edgecombe County graduate from North Edgecombe High School, 2025, Miss Brianna Jones. I nominated her for one of the scholarships from the North Carolina Association of Black County Officials, and she was awarded a $2,500 scholarship. And so they presented that on Friday at our luncheon. So I was very proud. Her mother's Katisha Pender. Some of you may know her. She's one of our Trillium representatives. So her and her mother came down with her. Brianna is now a freshman at East Carolina University, and she's studying allied health sciences. And so she was able to come and accept her scholarship at the luncheon. So I was very proud of that. But those were just a few things. Oh, the last thing was 100 Strong Productions, which is now a production company that the North Carolina Association has established. They came here and previewed one of their productions. The last one they just did was Rising Above Helene. They gave an update of what's going on in the western part of the state. And I don't think any of us at the table left, because once we saw all that they went through, we could kind of recognize what we've been through, when we had such floods as that. So anyway, we ask that y'all just continue to pray for our western counties. But the commissioners from the west were also in that production, and they really told us what they were going through and how much they appreciated Edgecombe County and other counties sending things to help their residents. So,
Thank you, Ms. Harris.
Mr. Williams, I got a couple of things.
Go ahead.
I'll preface this by saying I don't think we say thank you enough to our departments and agencies here within the county. I don't think we say thank you enough to one another. So here's the deal. Over in Pine Tops, approximately 4 weeks ago, when I say this, you know where I'm going. I need to stand up and let you look at me from this way so you can see I love to eat. So when the Piggly Wiggly had a fire on Sunday evening, I think we're very blessed over in our neck of the community that it was on Sunday evening when their employees were still there, if not after it closed. So it's a pretty significant fire that it was electrical in nature. And all the, perishables, that's why it's called perishables, because guess what happened? All the meats, all the goods that had to be cold, they lost. But here comes the thanks. When you go to the door and you can't get it, you know something's wrong and you know what's getting ready to happen. I just want to say to our emergency service, Mr. Brown, thank you, to Daniel. I made a call. I try not to overextend my boundaries, but when inspections when you got electricians that are on the way and you got a lot of work that's got to be done, Mr. Spell, thank you so much for sharing your inspector's number and having him Johnny on the spot and getting everything done. Mike, thank you for helping me kind of make sure. I won't trying to do your job, but when you got a community standing there and you don't have any groceries, I think that's pretty significant. I just want to say thank you to every one of y'all that took a tragic event and made it as less effective to a town and a community as it could be. So thank you so very much, every one of y'all, sincerely. And the other thing I want to say is Strategic Twin Counties Educational Partnership is hosting its educational summit over at Nash Community College. And I think the reason I'm saying this so you can put it on your calendar, I know Mr. Evans is going to pass it along to us, but I think it's going to be the 18th of September, doors opening 7:30. And I know Miss School and the rest would love to see you there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Webb. Any other comments from any commission?
I got one
Go
more
ahead.
thing. I know we're only 2 months into the budget, but I want us to start thinking about the possibility of examining our insurance plan and shopping or seeing what we might can do. I don't think we can continue to pay the premiums we're paying and the increases we're getting. And I would like to think there's something out there better or as good as that maybe won't cost us as much and head in that direction sometime. We
Which
got about
insurance you
10
talking
months.
about?
Do what?
Which insurance?
Health insurance, 466 people at $1,300 and some dollars.
I kind of agree with Mr. Boswell on that, and I think that is something that we do need to take a look at. And I'm going to ask that you, Mr. Boswell, and I'm going to ask the budget committee, okay, to assume the responsibility along with Mr. Evans in terms of looking at that and seeing if there's something different we need to do. If so, you and whatever staff, Mr. Evans, or whatever you need to put together. Without any objections, would there be any objections from the board? Hearing none, Mr. Boswell have 2 titles, okay? He's got budget, and I'm going to say that's a temporary appointment of looking at the county's insurance.
I can tell you it's hot everywhere, and now even state insurance getting ready to go.
They just increased the premium on it.
It is, but it's not something, I think it's something that every employee needs, but we really going to have to look at how every employee needs it. And certainly it's a serious benefit. You know, I come from the public sector, and it's the only place, I never would have had health insurance if it was not provided for me. I never would have had. Any other questions? Any other comments from the board? Mr. Peters?
No, sir.
No attorney. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're scheduled to go into closed session to discussing economic development matter. Is there a motion to go?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Mr. Peters, did you want to talk to them about what didn't we discuss something? Didn't you discuss something, how we were going to do that close? Did you talk with them? We on? Is there any other business to come in open session?
Nothing
Here-
from staff.
Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Question? All in favor, let me know my vote, sign aye. All opposed? Hearing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Get your second.
I know, right? Usually
Yeah.
the one, the first.
I can see now, because the other one